stepping. The runner boy, you nigga, no question. You were when a motherfucker hot stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Lightweight. Lightweight, baby. It's Friday. Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Smash my like button. Yeah, it's Friday, y'all. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. See, we got in the building. G. McCall, Stay Dangerous Boxing, David Scott III, Eric H. My brother Rod Neal, Charles Jameson, Rick Blackwell, Avery Black, and Pete.
What the fuck?
Salute. What's good? Eric Jordan in the building. Hen Dog, Daryl Big G, King Bonnie. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's my brother right there. Tim, what up, man? Let me take care of my brother Tim right there. I'm gonna see you later, Tim. Let me wrench him up. That's the fam right there. Tim, salute. Good to see you. Rashard Livingston. Queen, salute. 704 Joe. Bruh. Mind of Monta Musa. I got my brother Rashad. Sam Mack. Stormy B-Man, salute. Sensei's in the building. ES. Xavier, what's good? Anwar Willis early in that super chat. Salute. He says salute to the Druth in the chat. Hashtag LDBC number 36. Salute. Shogun, what's good? Let the family roll in. Cause we got a Marcus Wall, salute, man. We got some things we need to cover. Now y'all know I'm not a numbers guy, but I get, why the fuck's my TV on? I got a ghost in my house. Give me a second. Damn. I swear to God. Then I can't find the goddamn remote. I swear to God, I turned that motherfucker off. Now I do have a ghost in here. I hear footsteps and shit. Y'all believe in that shit? I do. Nothing to be afraid of. Some people are undone. They got to work that out with God. Jeff Spark, my brother, salute. No doubt, Tim. Isaiah GQ, what up? Chilltown Majors, salute. Nah, AJ appear in my living room, he getting shot. Send him ass. I ain't even playing with him. Anyway, I'm not a numbers guy. But in this time of boxing, numbers come up. You know why numbers come up? Because if you're a now I believe you, Steve. I believe you. Mr. Shelton, salute. Everybody wants to convince the public that the person that they support, some of you support some people unconditionally, and for whatever your reason is, that's fine. Edgar, what's good? I might, Steve. I might. If I get through what I'm getting through, I might. the major thing that they've done, and this is something that's happened over the last decade and some change, is they start throwing around numbers to convince you that they have this star power. We all know when people started talking like that. We all know it's the Floyd Mayweather era. We all know that. Big Texas, salute. It wasn't until Floyd we first heard the term A-side. We weren't saying that. That wasn't in our vocabulary. There were things the conversation of boxing completely turned around when Floyd Mayweather started talking. Once he left Top Rank, business conversations became out loud. And to me, it was distracting because I never liked talking about that. It was because of the Floyd Mayweather era. I started hearing people who are fans of the sport start talking about, no, this fight shouldn't happen now. It should marinate. And I'm like, whoa, what are you talking about? Marinate? What are you, roasting a steak? You're soaking the steak in Worcestershire sauce? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? This fight's not ready. It should marinate. What do you mean? And I started to see, once I started following boxing online, which was about like maybe 2014, when I started, social media, this is dope. I could find people that are into boxing like me. And then I found people that were into boxing like me, but they were in for weird reasons. Go subscribe to my fam. Y'all ain't even know what to do. I ain't even got to tell y'all. He got a link in the chat. You already know what to do. Main biker, salute. You already know what to do. Hook the brother up. Yes, sir. So, I didn't get involved in all of that. Joe the Beast was good because it's really, I never liked it. I'm like, man, why are we if Floyd wants to bring that, Hell's Bells, what's good, man? How you? If Floyd wants to bring that style of conversation, he's welcome to it. If the mathematicians, if y'all want to engage in that, you're welcome to it. But it got very distracting, didn't it? Listening to Bob Arum, and Bob Arum was used to just getting out. Bob Arum was old school. He used to getting on here and lying. Yeah, I remember what he was saying about Floyd. Oh, sign a contract. He won't sign a contract. And Floyd's like, he's lying. I never got a contract. Had Manny saying, yes, I signed the contract. And it was like, there was no contract. What are you talking about? Y'all remember all of this? It got very annoying. And then online, people are having math, like problem solving on these videos. It's like, yo, if Manny takes this, he'll get this. Then you carry the one and then multiply that. I said, this is exhausting. What are we doing? Daryl Alexander, salute. What are we doing? How about this? Manny fans, fall back. Floyd fans, fall back and just say, go to them and say, we don't care. Make the fight. It's that simple. Why are we arguing about purse splits? And Cassandra, what up? Why are we arguing about purse split? Do y'all know how silly that shit sounded? These are conversations that I don't recall my father and my uncles. Look, all they knew, yo, Junior. My dad's a junior. Hagler Hearns. Oh! And every Saturday, they're eating food and talking shit. They're in the living room doing man stuff. My father don't drink or smoke, but, my uncles did. High-fiving, talking about sports, talking about boxing, and my aunts and my moms in the kitchen They either braiding each other's hair and cooking, and they're talking whatever. I'll try to go in the kitchen and get something to eat. No, get out of here. Get out of here. You don't need to hear what we talking about. Get out. Go in the living room. If y'all had a real family, y'all can identify what I'm talking about. I had to go sit with the men, and I'm just like, learning how to be a man. You know who was allowed to go in the kitchen? My sister. She might not remember, though. She's a little younger. Black Gun Owners Magazine, salute. Jafar Cesar, salute. Good times. I don't recall the elders talking about how much is Hagler making. Well, I don't know. You know, Tommy's coming up to 160, but Hagler's the A side. What? That conversation didn't exist in the 80s. And it didn't exist in the 90s. Shamar Rashawn, salam, salute. The OG Mr. Mont in the building. I was waiting for you to show up. Salute to the OG Mr. Mont. I told you this brother does good work. Yes. I got my Deontay shirt. I told y'all. Y'all hit up my brother. Yes, sir. Look at this. Look at this. Yes, sir. The OG Mr. Mont. I'd put this on the whip, but I can't put it on the whip. You know why? In New York, we got to have 2 license plates on the front and the back. You got to have it. So I can't put it on the car. So I'm going to keep it in the crib. I'm going to hang it up. I'm going to keep it in the crib. I'm going to hang it up. But certain states, you only need 1 license plate. In New York, we need 2. We need a registration sticker on the car. You need an inspection sticker on the car. You need 2 license plates. It's like, damn. But that is, woo. Go hit up the OG Mr. Mont. That brother got that ticket. Hell yeah. Unique Dawn, Unique Dawn, Unique Dawn. Salute. Hell's Bells from the UK. Salute to all the fam in the UK, man. I know, listen, I just give Eddie Hearn and AJ and Dillian White shit. But I love the UK. I already told y'all. I ain't got no beef with the UK fans. I met real UK fans in Vegas. It wasn't what I thought it was. The only person that was acting crazy, it would be the black dude, right? I was like, come on, bro. Everybody in here is acting accordingly, and they're trying to calm him down, and he's drunk and rolling on the floor with the fucking Union Jack. I'm like, damn. It had to be you. I'm like, damn, it had to be you, of all people. And then I saw him Sunday, and he was all apologetic. I said, bro, just, you know, we here to have a good time, but, you know, tone down the, it's all right, man. Tone down the drinking, man. Damn. Hell's Bells, salute, brother. That dude named Dave, I ain't got to tell y'all. Y'all better be subscribed to that dude named Dave, man. That brother be cooking. He said, I've been out of pocket the last few weeks, something for my past due. Salute, brother. Salute to you, good brother. And if y'all don't know, next year, November, the week of my birthday, we gotta meet up in Vegas. Next year. We got to meet up in Vegas. They ain't Ish Crew. The Pep Pack and the Do Better Squad. See, I got like a year to get it together. If y'all coming, let us know. I'm trying to go down there with a small army, man. We're going to do a panel. It's going to be dope. We're going to have some fun. Salute. You know what I didn't know? My birthday is November 16th, but you know who also shares that same day? And I had no idea. Nonito Donaire. Oh, man, we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. So y'all got a year to get it together. Hit up the OG on his DM if y'all want something. Y'all follow him on the gram. You hit his DM. Oh, 22 Breezy. Oh, no, it was the UK fans was beautiful. They were beautiful. I must admit, I thought I was going to have a problem. And that was during Wilder Fury 3. So, you know, I had a chip on my shoulder. I was pissed when I landed. I was getting death threats and everything. I said, yo, don't worry. I'll be in Vegas and y'all will have the opportunity to do everything you say you're going to do. I'm going to be there. I can't hide. I'm too big. Nothing happened. And the UK fans was out there strong. And when I tell you they were delightful, I was like, shit. They were so cool. But the one person that was acting kind of funky, it was a black dude. I'm like, come on, bro. It had to be you. You, my people, these people, it had to be you. Jay, what up? Oh, Rashad, word the 18th? Next year, you should come with us, man. Marlon Mobley, salute. G. McCall, yo, man. It's going to be a big meetup, man. It's going to be a big meetup. We're going to have fun. And if there's a fight that week, that's going to be crazy. But yeah, man, the UK fans were so cool. They were so cool. It was just that one dude. Now, it would be a black dude, man. I was like, man. Damn. It would be you. I got a picture of him somewhere. Hell's bells, man. I mean, hey, man, come out to Vegas, bro. Come out to Vegas. Yeah, Dave, I hope it's a fight weekend. Kamal Oz in the building. Yo, let me highlight this brother right here. Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you. And we're gonna touch on that. It's Friday. Matter of fact, you know what, Kamal? Steve L. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna drop a link. It's Friday. It's Friday. I'm gonna drop a link. It's Friday. I'm gonna drop a link. I'm feeling good today. Sparky Pete, salute. Kamal Osby cooking. Y'all heard him on 78? Kamal Osby cooking. But if y'all want to know about that meetup, you can hit up me. You can hit up that dude named Dave. The Do Better Podcast with Theo Coop. Fresh, what up? Thank you. Theo Coop is live right now, but that's not a boxing channel, but he live right now. Y'all can hit him up anytime. You know what I'm saying? We're planning it. We got a whole year. No doubt, Sam Mac. Everybody, man. We're just gonna have a good time. That's all we're about. We're about having a good time, man. All this, all this beefing and pull up, nigga. Nah, that's not what I'm about, man. We grown folk. We here. It's called social media, where you meet people and you make friends in countries and states you never been to before, and you build relationships. All of this beefing online is it's a little crazy. It's crazy to me. Shout out Moses. This is my phone. Shit. In that super chat, salute, brother. He said, all right, great, brother. If Jamal is really fighting Canelo next, Adrian Broner is going to walk out Canelo to never had it. And Jamel is going to be in Canelo's ring walk wearing a keep running your mouth shirt. Let's get back to boxing. Ryan Rice, salute. Let me see if my goddamn super chat working. I mean my okay. Eric Jordan in that Cash App, man. Salute to you, good brother. Hey, with the monkey emojis. Oh man, I don't know why my thing ain't. Damn. Thank you, Eric. This damn thing don't be going off, man. I might have to uninstall and then reinstall it. Because I hear it on the old phone that's not even connected. But I don't hear it on my new phone. That shit crazy. Anyway. Salute to you, Eric. Thank you. Yo, man. So, face of boxing. My point of having this conversation, I still got people running around saying, yo, face of boxing, face of boxing. Canelo, face of boxing, face of boxing. The alleged numbers came out. Now, I'm not a numbers guy, but it keeps popping up. And since this is something that everyone wants to talk about only when they think it proves their point of the fighter that they support, hey, man. I heard it was 650 to 700,000. There goes that fucking number again. 650 to 700,000. My brother Trick Nolte in the building. Salute. 650 to 700. Tank did 1.5.
Whoa! What the it's kind of pretty before it gets started, ain't it? Oh, Froggy when he courting, he did ride Crambo. Froggy when he courting, he did ride Crambo.
What? Now, I don't want to talk about numbers, but since motherfuckers keep bringing it up, please explain. And that's right, Stormy. There's something about this that I don't believe. But, you know, I don't know. 650 to 700,000. That sounds awfully close to Errol and Bud, which I'm mad at because I thought that was low. But now all of a sudden it's okay. So let me get this straight. Canelo had a proper dance partner and still didn't break $1 million. The fact that Ryan and Tank did $1 million proves that you can still do that amount of buys. This is Canelo with the crown on his head and the red hair. This is Star Fox, y'all. Wait a minute. That now that's good? I mean, y'all got to tell me. Y'all got to tell me. That's good? Is 650 to 700,000 good? First of all, do y'all believe that number? I'm just asking. I don't know. I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Y'all know why I call him Star Fox, right? Y'all know why I call him Star Fox, right? Don't worry, I'm gonna remind y'all. That's Canelo, man. That's Canelo. You know what that guy is on the right? Star Fox is a Marvel character. He's going to be in the MCU. Matter of fact, at the end of the Eternals movie, he showed up. That's him. Y'all know why I call him Star Fox? You know how people say, oh, I want the Canelo smoke. I want the Canelo smoke. I want the Canelo smoke. And then they get the smoke and then they act like they don't have no killer instinct. They take their foot off the gas. I mean, even Bivol, I think he could have stopped Canelo, but he just is playing nice with him. I'm like, what? Copper, what up? Abel, what up? Yeah, that's Thanos' brother, y'all. That's Thanos' brother. This is his brother. But you know why I call Canelo Star Fox? I'm like, why everyone want to play nice with him when he get in the ring? Well, these are his powers. Star Fox psionically stimulate the pleasure centers in nearby people's brains, making them calm and open to suggestion using his persuasion skill. It has been suggested that when in physical contact and there is direct line of sight between a subject and the target, Star Fox can use his euphoria. He can use his euphoria effect to cause a person or persons to become infatuated with him, objects, or people of his choosing, or simply to make others feel good while in his presence. But he can't use his power on his brother Thanos. It don't work on him. So basically what this means is that when he get near you or when you look at him or whatever, he can make you love him, or he can make you fall in love with a rock. You be like, yo, man, I don't know what's going on, but this rock got a fat ass. You saw dry humping the rock. That's a bugged out power to have. But I think that's Canelo, because the Charles was chasing this guy for 10 years. This nigga gets in the ring and lays an egg.
What?
What the hell was that? Whatever, man. And that's why. Y'all see what the sensei just said? That's why. I don't think, look, the numbers could be real, but I don't think a lot of people fuck with Mel like that. Not enough that they would buy the pay-per-view. I don't know. Mikey Morales, salute. D Free in the building. True Boxing Night, salute, y'all. I don't think they fuck with Mel like that. I don't. That's just my opinion. I know the industry don't fuck with Mel like that. They don't fuck with the Charlos like that. Mel or Maul. You know why? They didn't even put him on the pound for pound list. Remember we was on here screaming? I'm like, yo, he's undisputed. Why he's not on the list? Yo, Maul's undefeated, WBC champion. Why he's not on the list? I mean, this is before he had problems. They didn't even put him on the list. I was like, what the hell did they do? What did they do? Or what didn't they do? I don't know. Squirrely, what up? Sure Will in the building. Kai World. Come on, say he thinks it did 500 or less. 88 Sports Talk, salute. Look what Stormy said. He said, we're supposed to forget the low numbers he and his brother did a few years ago on Showtime pay-per-view. Yo. Paul Carrick, salute. Yo. I don't know. I'm not a numbers guy. But you see why we don't want to talk about numbers? Well, I don't want to talk about numbers because people start talking about old stuff. Because the old stuff actually happened. And then the people that are fans of the opposing fighter, they say, oh, well, we don't want to worry about that. We're worried about now. Okay, let's talk about now. When he was on DAZN, what were the numbers? Uh-oh.
What?
We ain't see no numbers. What was the numbers versus John Ryder? What was the numbers versus Avni Yildirim? I'm asking. Let me ask y'all a question. Who's the dude that beat Elmo? That beat Chris Colbert, Tickle Me Elmo? The Dominican brother? What was his name? Santiago? That was his name? When he fought Tank, what was the numbers there? Did Tank, was his name Santiago? Was Tank versus Santiago a more successful event than Canelo versus John Ryder? Do we know? Because I don't know. I don't pay attention to that. Y'all let me know. I mean, these are questions that people, because you know, now we're talking about the face of boxing, right? Eric Jordan, that super chat, he says 650 to 700. Damn, that's sad. Canelo, nobody wanted to pay for his fights. That's easy for you to win. Still getting over this cold. Want to win, pay for fights. That's a challenge for you, Canelo. What he's saying, Jamel was the underdog in this fight. There's a bulk of people saying he ain't gonna win this fight. I held on to faith because I thought he had the physical tools and he had the skill set. He just didn't want to throw no goddamn punches. But Canelo was favored to win, and he won. So if Canelo was favored to win, there's a possibility that people just didn't pay for it. Hector Garcia. I said Santiago, my bad. It was Hector Garcia. Did Hector Garcia do better than John Ryder? I'm asking, because I'm a Village Brother. Salute. Sure will say Stream Team 6. Reporting. It was Hector Garcia. Did that do better than John Ryder? Now, you notice I forgot Garcia's name because, you know, here today, gone today. He had 2 seconds of fame, and what's he doing? Mark, what up? Who knows? So they did 650,000. Do y'all believe that? It's the face of boxing. PGH, what up? Face of boxing. You did that? Now, speaking of Charlo, I heard what Jamal said. Here's my opinion on it. Nigga, I don't believe you. Y'all not gonna get me twice. Nope. Yeah, you're not your brother. Your brother's a better boxer. You see, your dumb ass will stand in the pocket and get knocked the fuck out in 6 rounds. That's what I believe. Yeah, you're not your brother. But y'all not gonna get me twice. Y'all niggas, Jamel said he's focused on stacking chips pretty much. He said that. He's focused on money fights now. There goes that. Okay, at least we can say he was undisputed. But if they tell him, yo, Tim Tszyu is not as lucrative as Joe Schmo from somewhere else, he's going to fight Joe Schmo. And like it or not, I'm not a Tim Tszyu guy, but you ducked him, dude. That's the truth. You ducked Tim Tszyu. Go handle that, man. Go get your belt back. Go get your belt back. You see, God's very funny. Jamel told me and a bunch of other reporters, tell the WBO don't take my belt. Remember? I said, cool. I'll send the email. They ain't gonna listen to my dumb ass, and they didn't. They took it and gave it to Tim Tszyu. And you know what? Rightfully so. Because Tim Tszyu was next up. He was next up. And instead of you doing what you were supposed to do, because you're undisputed, you have 4 belts, you have 4 responsibilities, you chose to pursue money and go up and fight Canelo. Now, on paper, you're like, oh, that's great. But when that was announced, we were all like, yo, what are you doing? Everyone said that. We was like, what are you doing? I'm just going to go ahead and drop this for Kamal Oz. That's for Kamal Oz and Steve L. I'm just going to let you cook. Bro, these are the 3 fights, y'all. We got 2 of them so far. We got Mel and we got Maul. Y'all trust Jamal? No, I don't trust him. I don't trust them niggas. I don't trust him. Melvin Harris, salute. I don't trust him. Not after what I watched your brother do, bro. I don't trust you, dude. I don't trust you. I don't trust you. You'd have to go in there and you got to show me something. I don't trust you. I'm not picking you. Nothing. I'm barely rooting for you. Let me get to the super chat real quick. My brother Eric Jordan back in that super chat. He said, Errol versus Bud sold better than Charlo versus Canelo. Damn, us brothers is winning. We support our interests for the best of the best. Fights Errol versus Bud Part 2. If Errol versus Bud Part 2 doesn't do better, I'm not even going to be mad at y'all niggas, man, because y'all niggas just keep doing this shit. Afro Weekend G, salute, good brother, in that super chat. Much love. He said, morning, Drew, in the chat. Hope y'all have a hell of a weekend. Yeah, we on the job, man. Salute to you, good brother. Good to see you. Kamal I, salute, good brother. You're on mute.
Hey, salute, Drew. Thank you for giving me the honor of being on your show and your platform today. Thank you, sir.
Excellent, brother, man. You know what the topic is, man. I'm gonna throw it to you, man. What's going on with this guy?
Well, I gotta say, man, I think that the numbers are inflated. If you look at Canelo's, like, the release of his numbers for pay-per-view, anytime he has what is perceived as a legitimate opponent in the corner, somebody who the public perceives could give him a 50-50 fight, there is alarming specificity with his numbers. There's not a range. So you go back to the two Triple G fights, the Floyd fight, and the Caleb Plant fight. You'll see a specificity with the numbers. Anytime he's fighting somebody where the public does not really want the fight or perceive the fight as being on equal terms, there is a range that's given, and it's not given with specificity, and it's kind of released a couple of days later. So I think that this falls into that fight. I always said, as soon as this fight was announced, I was consistent across all platforms, and I was getting yelled at. People were calling me all kind of names. But the term that I used for Jermell Charlo versus Canelo Alvarez was fool's gold. I called it a gimmick fight. Why did I say it was fool's gold? Why did I say it was a gimmick? Because PBC was promoting this as undisputed versus undisputed, when in reality, one guy was doing all the hard work going up 2 divisions. He's coming off a hand injury. He's inactive. And like you said earlier, and I've said long since, Tim Tszyu, he ducked Tim Tszyu. He ducked his mandatory obligation. Showtime had done a great job of promoting Jermell Charlo versus Tim Tszyu. And I know people don't like Tim Tszyu. I personally think he's okay. I don't have any problem with the guy. But Showtime had brought up a rivalry between the two of them, and I was excited to see this fight play out. I mean, you brought Tim Tszyu to America. You had him when Jermell was injured. You had him fight, and even before he fought. Who was that Haitian guy he fought? That gave that's a good fighter. He came over to America, made his debut, and that fight had been built up. That's the one we wanted to see. And then, of course, with Canelo, I mean, it was David Benavidez. That was a natural fight. So Canelo does what he normally does: cherry picks, fight somebody either off a layoff or somebody once again moving up in weight. And then with Jermell, it was that way. So I said, you know what? This fight is fool's gold. You guys wanted this fight. We wanted it years ago, but now it's garbage. And I said with the Charlos, if you look at them, they have always been fans of Canelo Alvarez. Like anytime, they're like flying. They do Instagram lives and Facebook lives and all this other stuff, and they show themselves flying to Canelo's fights, even when they're the cherry picks. Not like I'm flying to Triple G 1 and 2, or I'm flying to Caleb Plant. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go see him fight John Ryder. John Ryder's a good opponent. Jamal said that, and I'm like, dude, John Ryder who ducked your stablemate, the guy who trains with Ronnie Shields. He ducked David Morrell Jr. on 2 separate occasions when the WBA ordered it. And Eddie Hearn says, we're not going to make that fight because David Morrell's a hard fighter. And then they maneuvered around him to get John Ryder in the WBO mandatory slot. And, you got to say this to Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. He allowed that also for John Ryder to be mandatory because he should have taken that Zach Parker fight even with the reduced wages when he was injured.
Yeah.
And he should have been a WBO mandatory, because I guarantee you Canelo wouldn't have fought him. He would have dropped the WBO belt, and he couldn't claim to be undisputed. So in short, I just think these numbers are inflated. I think if you look at Canelo's history of his pay-per-view numbers and how the public reacts, as well as how the numbers people like you, I'm not a numbers guy, the specificity of whenever he's fighting someone, people think, hey, this is a good fight. This is a fight that's in demand. How those numbers are released versus, whenever he's fighting these guys that no one asks for, which he's done a lot of, where Eddie Hearn, people say, hey, the number was 300,000 to 400,000 on DAZN for something. And he says, double that. And people say, okay, on Twitter, double that. What are you talking about? It's like worldwide, it's 600, 800,000. And we're like, you don't calculate pay-per-views worldwide. We're talking about products and pay-per-views bought in America. Maybe in Kenya, you can buy a pay-per-view for 20 shillings, or in Venezuela, you're buying something for 1 million bolivars, which is like $1 in America. So, I just think those numbers are inflated.
My brother Dave in the building. Fam.
Salute, Drew.
Happy Friday. And salute to Kamal Oz. If y'all don't know, man, Kamal knows his shit. This isn't coming from a place of hatred. It's coming from a place of what the fuck. And I take pride in saying I'm not a numbers guy, because I think this is a big old distraction. I want to get to the meat and potatoes of it. I like talking about the goddamn fight. But people talk numbers to justify whoever they root for as being the face. And when the numbers are all over the place, first of all, we don't know what kind of numbers Canelo was doing over DAZN, because we can't count DAZN's numbers. They don't release them. So we don't know. But y'all don't know what's good. Connor, what's good, brother? Dave, what you got, good brother?
First thing, salute to the chat. Good Friday to everybody. Hope everybody's living, cooking, getting this money, because, hey, times are rough out here. So I just want to say salute to the tribe out there. Salute to Kamal Oz. I be seeing him chat in other boxing shows. Kamal, you be cooking, bro. You be dropping that, killing the corporate media. So I just want to say shout out to Kamal Oz in the game here as well. Just quick points here, and I'll let you cook, Drew. You know me, how I felt. I wanted to see the Tim Tszyu fight. I bought tickets to the fight. I showed you the receipts when they gave me my refund when that fight was not going to happen, when they actually went to the Canelo Alvarez route here. And the way I look at it is, okay, Mel got his money. I ain't going to front on him. He's going to go ahead and get the check and do what he's got to do here, right? I knew the fight was over after the first round. And I just want to give a shout out to Emmanuel Stewart, because after what he talked about in a fight back in 2010 or 2011 with Shane Mosley and Floyd Mayweather, I view fights differently all the time. When Shane was fighting Floyd, he was throwing his jab, and if you watch that fight, Manny said, I don't like the way Shane looks. That jab looks jiggly. And I was like, I never heard the word jiggly before. And they kept asking, what do you mean by jiggly? He said, it's not fully extended. He doesn't have the range on it. It doesn't feel like he's throwing it with commitment here. It just looks jiggly, right? And ever since then, I have been judging fights from fighters how they look, right? So you look at Mel, who's coming in 2 weight classes above here. And in that first round, I'm looking at that jab being a little bit jiggly. So the first thing that came to my mind was, Canelo's cut the distance off for a reason why he can't throw it and extend it. Even when he got distance and threw his jab, it wasn't authoritative. It wasn't, it wasn't out there. It wasn't popping. But if you watch the fight, look at Canelo's jab. Even when he didn't have the range or distance, snap, quick, turn the wrist. And I was like, it was crispy. And Jamel's was jiggly. So after that first round, I even though the commentator said they only landed 1 punch, I said, Canelo got this in the bag. Because of just the way he came in the ring and just the way his presence was when he was throwing his punches. He didn't look like he was balanced. He didn't look like he was all the way there.
You saw when he arrived in Vegas, when he got out the limo?
Yeah, I watched all of it.
Face?
It didn't look right.
He didn't look like he wanted to be there.
And here's the difference about going up 2 weight classes. Mel was basically doing water weight, walking around weight. Canelo has been disciplined, training, been at that strength, at that weight for how many years now? Because the only person we've seen go up successfully 2 weight classes and contend properly was Bernard Hopkins against Antonio Tarver. Was that back in 07? And what did Hopkins do? He hired that strength coach, Mackey. But do you remember when they did the 24/7, how he broke down how you're supposed to gain weight properly by keeping your speed, power, and stamina? It's a science by taking it a pound or two at a time. He was breaking down how you add a certain amount of weight and then you do certain exercises. And then with that there, you got to keep that consistent so the body can adjust, can acclimate to that. And then you slowly but surely build up. You know what Mel probably did? Got up the weight and just worked out and just trying to maintain the balance of where he was at. It wasn't a science because he looked chunky. He was fit, but he didn't look chiseled and rock solid. So we already know Mel came in for the check. God bless him. He got paid. But now the key is, if you're really going to fight at 154, which I think he can because he didn't commit to his body. Yeah. If he commits to his body, like Bernard Hopkins, we'll all say you should go to 160. But if it's going to be at 154, go ahead, fight Tim Tszyu. That's your best money fight right now. And I will go to that fight if it's going to be in Vegas because you know I already went to pay and see that the first time. But Jamel got paid. More power to him. But when it comes to Canelo now, he's got to fight somebody. He's got to fight somebody real, y'all.
They're gonna give us Jamal, man.
I know, and that's why I came on because Jamal's talking mess. Now he's got to pump it up. It's his dust off fights so that he can go ahead and get the Cinco de Mayo joint because we know the schedule. Cinco de Mayo will be Maul, and then if we're lucky, he's gonna wait out Benavidez till Mexican Independence Weekend next year. So even if we do get the fight, we're waiting a whole nother 12 months. So I just want Canelo to fight somebody real. If it's going to be Maul, I mean, I might be in Vegas because the Cinco de Mayo is going to be 90 degrees and great weather, guys. So how's your boy? But pool season, bikinis are out, guys. But anyways, though, I'm not going to be paid for the fight, though, but I'll be in Vegas, though, to enjoy myself.
Oh, my God. Kano said they're gonna give us Carlos Adames. Oh, shit. I can't, man. I can't.
It should be Jamal Charlo versus Carlos Adames. Jamal Charlo's been ducking Carlos Adames. And, I keep it 100 about these belts, about whoever's holding belts hostage and stuff. The WBC should have stripped Jamal Charlo a long time ago. Carlos Adames should have been promoted to the full champion. Actually, since Carlos Adames came over to the PBC, he's looked really good. So he should be the full WBC champion. So, again, Canelo, this is something Paulie says, and I know Paulie, he's racist or whatever, and he's said a lot of unfortunate stuff, but on some things, it's like a broken clock is right twice a day. He said he hated, from the very beginning, he hated Jermell Charlo versus Canelo Alvarez because he said Canelo robbed us of two fights that we wanted to see. Canelo Benavidez and Jermell versus Tim Tszyu. And with Jamal Charlo, if Canelo fights him, which I think is also going to be the play because Eddie Cartel Reynoso told us at the beginning that the plan was Jermell then Jamal, the revenge for the story writes itself. It's malarkey. So I think that it would, again, rob us of two fights we need to see that are overdue. Jamal Charlo versus Carlos Adames, and then Canelo versus, he has 5 options. You're undisputed, and this is another reason why I'm harder on Canelo than I am on some other people, because he's holding a division hostage. He really doesn't need to have all those belts. So he needs to be fighting, and I think the IBF is actually ahead of the WBC because the IBF mandatory was actually defended earlier than the last time the WBC mandatory was. Correct me if I'm wrong. So he's robbing us of the William Skull undefeated Cuban fight. That's a better fight than Jamal Charlo. He's robbing us of the David Morrell Jr. fight, robbing us of Demetrius Andrade, who's already acclimatized to 168, robbing us, of course, of David Benavidez fight and Christian and Billy. So those fights are all better than a Jamal Charlo, who that fight will play out exactly like his fight with James Kirkland. Yeah, we wanted to see you versus James Kirkland, but not under the circumstances in which you gave us the fight, when he's going in and out of prison, when he's dealing with his mental institutions, when you're not giving him Ann Wolfe. You put that no Ann Wolfe in the contract.
That was crazy. You remember that?
Yes.
That was crazy. No Ann Wolfe.
Never
I was
forget.
like, what's he doing?
Never forget, Drew. We'll never forget.
Oh, my God. You can't have Ann Wolfe in your corner? Really?
You can't have your trainer. You can't have your trainer.
That was insane, bro. That was I will never forget that.
You know where I'm at with. Go ahead, Kamal.
No, you go ahead. Sorry.
You know where I'm at with this now. They're to the point now. They're trying to fleece the fans.
Yes.
They're trying to fleece the fans. So I told fans, don't buy the Jermell Charlo fight. They're stealing from you. They're basically putting the gun up to your head and say, give me your money out your pocket during the recession. That's what they're telling you. Give me your $90 and you're going to like it. And then dude jumps out the ring and says, I didn't get knocked out though. Hey, bruh. Hey, bruh. Somebody need to whip your ass on the way to the bank. Listen, bruh. It didn't even look like he had a fight. But we got this other guy that's in this stable that fought valiantly. And you can see the level of envy. I think Charlo's envy spits. Undercover. It's just not shown. So with the little snide comments that he made on All Access and stuff like that, bruh, I can see it in him. It's oozing out of him. Because he don't have it in him. He's just out there fighting for the check. He probably going to get stopped his next fight if he has a big fight. I wouldn't be surprised, bruh. Because he's already given it up. He's packed it in.
If he fights Tim Tszyu, I don't put it past him to go in there and lay an egg, man.
All these dudes is hungry, bro. Drew, you know how it is. They hungry.
Yeah. And bullshit aside, I'm not a Tim Tszyu guy.
Me either.
I know, because I know what they're trying to do. We all know what they're trying to do. His father was great.
Yeah.
They're trying to capitalize on it. So I get it. And plus, he came over here and got dropped in the first round. And his opponent took his foot off the gas. I noticed that. But I think him getting dropped in that first round, that wasn't in the plan.
His skin tone, Drew. Don't forget the skin tone.
Man. Oh yeah.
And he has a whole country in the market.
Yes, he
got a whole country in the market. Look, bro, Charlo put himself in no man's land. He's not sellable. You can't sell him to anybody on pay-per-view no more.
We don't trust him now.
No, yeah, right, bro. You know, bro. It's like watching that fight. Like trying to sell Charlo to me is like trying to sell me a 350-pound bride and tell me to pay for it, bruh.
Does she cook and clean?
No, she don't. She don't work out. She smell like Cheetos and cheeseburgers.
So,
what if it's legitimately is Lizzo? What if it is Lizzo herself? If it really is, I mean, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. She pay your mortgage. No. So the next question is, do we trust Jamal?
No, I don't trust him, bro. Dude, Drew. Wait, hold on. Everybody on the panel, do y'all remember they all flew out to see him fight in Miami against that bum?
That was disgusting, man.
They are fans, bro. They are fans. They're a bigger fan than you. They're a bigger fan of Canelo than you as fighters. Bro, something wrong with them, bro. You're a fool if you bet your money on them. You're going to be living on the streets.
The only money you're betting on is Canelo for the win. That's the only time with Canelo, unless it's going to be Benavidez, even if he waits too long, but anytime Canelo fights, guys, unless it's going to be Bivol, we should put your money on Canelo. All right. It may be pennies on the payout, but you ain't going to lose compared to what Jamel did to us. I mean, like, everybody knows when you throw it up, if you're ever been into a ring, like Drew was in Vegas together in July, even when punches are not landing, when you throw, the crowd goes wild. So crazy. If you got a judge who's not paying attention, he may be there and maybe that punch didn't land, but the crowd goes crazy, they're going to score for Canelo. You basically give him 3 rounds off GP. So why even put money on it?
What did Jamel walk away with? Cash. Does anybody know? Because I don't know. I heard.
What did he walk away with? What was the question?
Like what was his split? I heard it was like 11 million. Was it that? I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know. Whatever they paid him, he'll never get it back in pride and dignity. Because if that was the line, that's the only line I seen like that was from the Wiz.
Well, let me give it to you from a capitalist point of view here. We're a prisoner of the moment right now. Here it is, October 5th or 6th right now. 3 years from now, no one ain't gonna be talking like this about men. 5 years ago, we're diehard boxing fans, so I get it. Like, we ain't doing this, guys. Forget it. But we gotta remember, we're a prisoner of the moment right now. Man, make it 5 years from now, ain't no one talking like this Mel, and he gonna be in Houston with this big ass mansion. We gotta keep it a buck, guys. We are prisoners of the moment. We hate it. It sucks. It's boxing. But at the end of the day, We ain't talking about this. We ain't gonna be talking about this in November. Once we get to Benavidez,
but Dave, Dave, he didn't even put up a good fight as Amir Khan did.
I know. But my thing is, we are the true fans and we talk about this. But at the end of the day, we ain't gonna be talking about this in November.
Yo,
am I right or wrong?
No, you right. Let me.
It hurts me to say that, but we just got to keep it a buck here.
Let me point this out. You know what pissed me off the most? I'm already seeing people saying, this is why we didn't put those niggas on the goddamn pound for pound list. They're saying that already now.
Damn.
They're saying that. They're like, see, this is why we didn't have like they had a crystal ball and they were able to see him doing this. I mean, it's not fair. I think they're full of shit. They're just justifying their racism, but come on. This is the conversation. I was about to say this is a conversation we got to deal with. I don't deal with it. They both should have been on those lists.
Yeah, because he accomplished a lot. He's still going to be a Hall of Famer in my eyes and all of that. It's just that at his biggest moment, you seen something from him, and the way he talked about Deontay, bro, it just like he just X'd himself all the way out when he did that, and then he did this performance behind it. He done, bro.
Let me remind.
He's done, bro.
Let me remind everyone. Now, let me tell you something. I'm a team player. I roll with him. I didn't say anything. I said, look, he has the tools. I think he's a better athlete. MJ, what up? He's a better athlete. Thomas, what up? I feel that he has the tools to not only do better than Bivol, but he might be able to stop Canelo. And then he does this. And when he said, Brother Huey, D-Side, salute. If I miss you in the chat, know that I love you. When he said, I'm doing this for the culture, I stopped for a second.
He was talking about track, bro. He's talking about track.
I said, what fucking culture is he talking about? Because I remember when they were interviewing Deontay on Instagram, I was in the chat and he popped up and that nigga said, it's not about race. Skills pay the bills. You see, sometimes things happen and we can't make heads or tails of it. But God don't make no mistakes, y'all. Whether you're a believer or not, call it the universe. A lot of people saying, I don't know what I saw Saturday. I know exactly what I saw. I saw this man eating his words. I'm doing it for the culture. What culture? The culture of boxing as a sport or my people, these people? What culture?
Can we stop this culture crap, Drew? I'm sick and tired of hearing this, man.
We have to. We have to now.
You got to. It's dead, bro. It's dead. It died Saturday.
Yeah.
Because every time, hey, Dave, every time I hear somebody say for the culture, they steal.
They
end up being a thief, bro. They be a thief.
What culture? What culture? Because there's there are millions of different cultures. So this was a cash grab. It was a freak show fight. It had no business. And and I'm not dissing anybody in particular, but when I saw people say Jermell was going to win by knockout, I was like, man, I don't like Canelo as much as anybody out there, probably. I'm not a hater. I just know his history and I know what he does to the sport. But the guy has a good chin. And Jermell's going up 2 weight classes with an injured hand, and he's somehow going to knock or stop Canelo Alvarez. And I just laughed at that. So this was a culture. Yeah, Jermell did it for the culture. He did it for the money grab culture. He did it for the freak show culture. And he did it for, hey, I'm just going to be another name on Canelo's resume culture. And you know what? Corporate media, let me go into corporate media because Drew brought up a great point. They said Jermell is not a pound for pound fighter, even when he beat Castaño, because if you really know your boxing history, and this is what tells me that corporate media is biased, they're full of crap, they're racist. Castaño was a decorated amateur. He actually beat Serhiy Devranchenko as an amateur. And if you know anything about boxing, Serhiy Devranchenko, who both Bumlovkin and Canelo got stripped by the IBF for ducking, by the way. Corporate media won't tell you that. And he beat Golovkin's ass when they fought. He just got robbed in that fight. You go back and watch Deverenchenko versus Golovkin. When DAZN made Golovkin get that IBF and fight him, he got robbed because he almost stopped Golovkin. Okay, so those two guys had great amateur records. Sergey Deverenchenko, I think, went like 250-12 in the amateur. One of the best amateur records of all time. So corporate media said after the Jamal Charlo emphatically beat Brian Castano, they said, you needed 2 fights against Castano. This is not, someone who we could put on a pound for pound list. And they totally went over and ignored Castano's record as an amateur, as a decorated amateur. And that I think he beat Errol Spence in the amateurs too, if my name,
He did.
Yeah. So he was a great amateur fighter. And so corporate media, you can't have it two ways. The racists and the fanboys, you can't have it two ways. If you told me that Jermell Charlo, after being undisputed, wasn't on your pound for pound list, then you can't elevate Canelo now and say that he's regained the throne as pound for pound #1 for beating a guy that you said was never worthy of your pound for pound list, that was moving up 2 weight classes, that was off an injury and a long layoff. It's one or the other. Either Jermell Charlo was on your pound for pound list and you recognize him for having a hard road to going undisputed, much harder than Terrence Crawford, for going undisputed and getting those fights in at 154. And you say that validates Canelo and moves him up in the pound for pound list, or he was never what some fans thought he was. And Canelo, once again, cherry picked a smaller guy. The guy went in there not even to win. He was just collecting a paycheck. So you can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too on this. It's either or of those.
And Kamal, you were cooking here because you made a great point that no one's bringing up recently. Reason why he didn't fight Tim Tszyu, because he broke his hand 3 days before Christmas. And for him to have that layoff and not test it, you're going to fight one, even though we all hate Canelo. We know he's a cheat, right? Like I said, he got a chin, and he's one of the best guys in boxing right now, especially in his division. And you're not going to be able to test that out. You're just going in sparring and throwing it. We don't know if he went in the ring and he might have been feeling a little twinge, or he's unsure about the confidence level, especially come off an injury. You got to get that, not only just the ring rust, the rust of the anxiety of feeling that injury or knowing that you're 100% right. So no one even talked about the fact that he was out for that long period of time because he had the surgery, and we're going to talk about him going up 2 weight classes to fight a stronger man. And in the fact that Canelo was eating those punches, it was like Tic Tacs to him. Boom. Oh, that's all you got? Boom. Okay. I was born ready. And throwing more punches to him. He was bombing them. Like, even when Canelo wasn't landing, he just commits to your shoulders, your forearms, your elbows, and just pound it like a meat grinder until your arms feel heavy as hell. And then he comes in and starts throwing more bombs when you open up here. So we're not even talking about the fact that if he couldn't hurt him anyway because he's a lighter man, then he come in with a broken hand that's recovering here. He probably fighting like pillow fisted in that night, Saturday night basically. And we're not even adding that. He probably knew he was pillow fisted. Like, let me get this 10, 11 million and I'll go 154.
Somebody in the chat put that he made 20 million. I hope to God that that's not accurate.
20 million.
I don't
think he's getting points. He's getting points if that's the case.
Caleb made 10, and that was a fight that the public demanded, and those pay-per-view numbers were successful. That was, apart from Triple G 1 and 2 and Cotto, that was one of and Floyd. I think that was the highest grossing Canelo pay-per-view, and they released the numbers in a way with specificity that they don't do for his other fights. So I doubt that. I mean, if they paid him 20 million, they paid him double what Caleb. That just, to me, that doesn't make any sense.
What are the odds? What did you hear in reference to Caleb Plant getting another shot? Did you hear something about that? Because I went to his Instagram and he said revenge tour. I don't know what that's about. Did you hear anything about that?
I did hear some YouTubers say it, but the revenge tour is actually not for Canelo specifically. It's for everybody that he's had a beef with and he wants to settle it in the ring. So he had a beef with Anthony Durrell. Durrell said derided him. He said some negative comments about Caleb. So Caleb said the revenge tour is going to start with Anthony Durrell. He and David Benavidez had a beef, the history behind that. That was part of the revenge tour. And now Jamal Charlo and him have a beef where Jamal Charlo was disrespecting him in front of his wife, Jordan Plant, and touching him. And then you see the video with was it Sean Gibbons in the background where Caleb slaps Jamal Charlo. And
I was there.
Like that. Yeah. So Sean Gibbons was there. You see, I love Sean Gibbons, man. That's a really cool guy. But you see his reaction to everything. And so Jamal Charlo's part of the Revenge Tour. So Caleb's actually called out Jamal as part of the Revenge Tour. The Revenge Tour consists of anybody that Caleb has had a beef with that he wants to settle it in the ring. And so I have heard rumors of that. That's not a viable fight right now, especially Caleb coming off of the loss to David Benavidez. I don't buy that Showtime, that PBC would stoop that low to make a fight like that. Again, the only 5 fights for Canelo that he has, as long as he's undisputed, are Christian and Billy. The next one should be William Skull because the IBF is ordering mandatories. My guy, Subriel Matias, just got his IBF belt after Josh Taylor was stripped, and he's already fighting a dangerous mandatory, Irgashev, when he was supposed to fight Sergey Lipinets, and the PBC never made that fight. Okay, so there's William Skull out there. There's Christian and Billy. We know that Andrade and Benavidez are fighting each other, so that precludes one of them from getting the Canelo fight, and then it's David Morrell Jr. If Canelo's an undisputed champion and he's holding those 168-pound belts hostage, 2 of his last 3 fights have been against guys who are non-super middleweight. That's ridiculous. Those should have never been sanctioned for those belts. Okay, so he's got to fight the guys that are in position, that have put in the work. No, Terrence Crawford does not deserve a Canelo fight. No, we don't want to see another freak show fight when there are 5 to 6 more fights that are better and more competitive right now. That is a cash grab. That is another freak show fight, and Canelo doesn't even want it because he saw how.
Let me interject. And Billy is my guy, right? Stormy B-Man put me on to him, and he's like a mini Ike Ibeabuchi. That's the style that I see him. People may say he swings a little too wide, but no, I'm not saying that he beats Canelo, but that's the guy, in my opinion, that'll make Canelo work. He ain't gonna go in there and lay an egg like Jamel did. What would the corporation do to keep Billy out of the way? Because he's ranked number 1 in the WBC, right? What would he? But you know what? In the WBC, Canelo couldn't fight Billy before fighting David Benavidez because David Benavidez is the mandatory. So I think that they would. How would they avoid the WBC altogether, but still generate, still maximize their dollar?
Hey, Drew, in your example here, I think the worst case scenario WBC would do was make Benavidez fight him. To consolidate. If Canelo strings out, and that's happened before. Remember, we go to WBC with Deontay Wilder, with Dillian White, and what's his name? Light-skinned and tall brother that he knocked out in 2016. I can't think of his name right now.
What's his name? With the man boobs? What's his name?
Yeah, man boobs.
Joshua.
Brazil. Now, if everybody remember the history, Dillian White should never been in that WBC ranking to get the fight. He kept suing. The WBC said, hey, we're going to consolidate this here. No one's getting Deontay right now. Brazil fights Dillian. What did Dillian say? Forget this. So the WBC said, okay, then go down. And then Brazil got the shot. But the whole idea was that the WBC was going to do another consolidation interim fight to make Brazil fight Dillian White until Dillian White became an asshole. And he's always been an asshole. Let me take that back here. But that the WBC is known to do that, where you have a mandatory, but then if they have someone they like in Canelo, they want to be in the fanboy game here, they'll string it out saying he's next, and then someone happens to say, well, we'll approve this fight for the betterment of boxing, but Benavidez, to keep your status, you got to fight such and such here now to maintain it.
But the
PBC known to do that.
The PBC, I'm sure they want a return on their investment, but if they're not giving us Benavidez and they're not giving us Billy, well, no one knows who Billy is, but us. How are they going to get a return on their investment? If he's not fighting the Billies or the William Skulls of the world, what do they do?
Let me interject here because Dave brought up a great point, but I have a more prescient example because it did involve Canelo Alvarez, and Dillian White was his own worst enemy because he was ordered to fight eliminators against Kubrat Pulev and the IBF. He ducked Kubrat Pulev. He was ordered to fight Luis Ortiz in an eliminator. He ducked that. So Dillian White is I call him D-Ball Dillian, the delusional druggy ducker. That's my nickname for that guy. D-Ball Dillian, the delusional druggy ducker, because he is ducked eliminator, so he's no victim. He is a jester. He is a troll. He's a cheater, and he's a ducker. D-Ball Dillian, the delusional druggy ducker. So back when Canelo first got to 154, the WBC 154-pound title was vacant. It was supposed to be Canelo versus Vanes Martirosyan for that title, for that vacant title. The WBC under Jose Sulaiman, Mauricio's father, never made that fight. And back then, if you really know boxing, people say, "Well, Vanes, who is he? He sucks." No, Vanes had a really good style, a prime Vanes at the time, and he was looked at as a threat. And the WBC mandated it was either Matthew Hatton or Ryan Rhodes for the vacant WBC title at 154. Both those guys were unranked at welterweight, and somehow they got elevated to fight Canelo for a mandatory shot. And what did Canelo do? If you look at his reign at 154, he fought nothing but welterweights, including Shane Mosley off a loss to Pacquiao. Somehow, a dinosauric Shane Mosley got a title shot after losing to Pacquiao, and he was fighting, a dinosaur version of Kermit Cintron. Really, Josecito Lopez after he upset Victor Ortiz, because Golden Boy wanted to make Victor Ortiz, another 147-pounder, fight Canelo, and then Josecito Lopez upset the apple cart, and so you really have a 140-pounder fighting Canelo. So what did they do to Vanes Martirosyan? Instead of mandating him to fight Canelo Alvarez, they had Canelo approving Canelo fighting nothing but welterweights, and they had Vanes Martirosyan doing all the heavy lifting and fighting all these eliminators.
Pay attention, y'all. Pay attention.
Against dangerous opponents. And it was back to back to back to back. Vanes was in tough fight after tough fight, doing what Canelo should have done, and he never got ordered to fight Canelo Alvarez. So Vanes, who was with Bob Arum at the time, Bob Arum was, of course, looking out for him. And he was, trying to come up with litigation and stuff. And finally, they reached an agreement to where Golden Boy didn't make Canelo versus Vanes. They sent Erislandy Lara over to HBO to fight Vanes to satisfy that condition. And I believe that fight ended in a draw. And so after that, or after the Andre fight, I think Bob Arum dropped him. So that would be the example to use for this Benavidez fight, because Canelo has a history of that. The guy hadn't fought a mandatory, until he fought Avni Yildirim, who he chose, which was such a putrid decision by the WBC, and such a horrendous decision that their favoritism, they had to come out and say that they made a mistake. Mauricio Sulaiman immediately after that fight admitted he made a mistake in allowing Avni Yildirim to be his mandatory. So the example with David Benavidez and Canelo with the WBC to look at is the history of Canelo ducking Vanes Martirosyan when he was in the spot to be the WBC mandatory, and Canelo was fighting nothing but welterweights and guys who were ancient shells of themselves, and they have that's the track record with Canelo and the WBC to look at. For that case study, that's the term I'm looking for. That's the case study we're looking for, what could happen with David Benavidez. I will say this, in Billy's with the guy in Quebec, the big promoter in Quebec, he fights, I think he's not a name that's exclusive to ESPN though, that Yvonne Michel, who is now with Bob Arum, in Billy's it's not like a Shakur Stevenson who has an exclusive network deal. So right. to me, I'm not so concerned about what these guys make. In this situation, there are some situations like with Errol Spence Crawford where that does come into play and that does affect the fight. But in this case, Canelo is undisputed. If he doesn't need the belts, again, he's somebody who's transcend belts. You could just drop him tomorrow. And then I would say personally, I wouldn't like it, but I could say you fight who you want. You want to fight Crawford, fight him. Okay, but you've got to fight the obligations. You can't say I'm the king, I'm undisputed, I hold all the crowns, I'm the best person at super middleweight. You're fighting a bunch of Austin Powers, you're fighting a bunch of cricket players, and when those guys run out, these British level kind of domestic level guys run out, and you got dangerous competition, then you're fighting smaller guys. So that's the thing. But look at that case study with Vanes and Canelo. So that's why when people tell me, they say, "Wow, man, Canelo's a diva, man. When he was coming up, he fought everybody." That's fiction. Look at his record, look at his resume, look at who he fought when he did. He only fought Austin Trout because Floyd told him to fight Austin Trout. And I thought Austin Trout beat him. I thought Austin Trout, at least, if you're not going to give him the victory in that, even with that BS corrupt open scoring, Stanley Christodoulou has a 118, 110, and all these ridiculous scorecards. Austin at least deserved a draw. He at least deserved a draw. So Floyd told him to fight Austin Trout, and he said, that'll make our pay-per-view viable. He didn't even want to fight Austin Trout. So there are a lot of people who come up and say, man, Canelo fought everybody, man. He's coming up. Now he's been a diva. He's done 1/10 of the work of Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, and he's exercised 5 times the privilege in terms of ducking mandatories, being stripped of belts, vacating belts.
Hey, Kamal, you cooking. I'm glad you brought up that Murders Aren't reference, because I forgot about that. But we know the WBC is known to make these changes here, so I can appreciate that you jogging our memories back with that one. What I want to add too, that you had a good tailoring in for that, Kamal, regarding Floyd Mayweather. You see, if Canelo just dropped the belts, like, okay, it is what it is, he can fight wherever he wants here. I am sick and tired of Canelo and Bud holding hostage to these belts and then try to compare themselves to Floyd Mayweather. Floyd only kept the WBA and the WBC belts. You know what that means? He's not held to the politics of the IBF and the WBO. So when you only got 2 belts, it's a lot easier to navigate your mandatories. And on top of that too, Floyd was only going to look for the champion or the best guy up to make the event. He was just going to fight anybody like Canelo's doing right now, making guys come up 2 weight classes to go say, okay, you're going to get this check here. Or have someone here who at 155 catchweight for 2 years. I seen the chat here, because he was the 155 catchweight king. The one thing about Floyd is he had only 2 belts, not all the belts, that allowed him to navigate to fight the best fighter he wanted to fight. And on top of that, if they were a champion too, it made for the big event. So I'm tired of Canelo saying, well, Floyd got to fight whoever he wanted to fight. Well, drop the belts so you can fight whoever you want to fight then. Because there's politics in the game, and these guys been waiting for years to get their shot here. If you don't give them their shot, then go ahead and drop the belts. If you're going to fight everybody, because that's the duty of a champion. If you hold the belt, you got to defend it. You can't be going around saying, I can do what the hell I want because I'm a superstar. That's not the game.
The damn sure ain't the game, man. And salute to Boxiana. I see you, little sis. It's definitely not the game. But
Exactly. You nailed it, bro. And you know, one reason why Floyd never got the IBF or never really held on to it long is because they're actually the best sanctioning body in terms of ordering mandatories. They've stripped bummed up
at 130. He ain't held it since.
Yep. So he didn't want to hold that. I called for Floyd after he beat Manny to go ahead and fight Kell Brook and retire as undisputed. People said I was crazy. That's not a money fight. I said, hey, just go out with a middle finger and go beat up an undefeated Kell Brook.
I felt that way too, Kamal. I felt that way to fight Kell Brook.
People said it's not a money fight. You see what the fuck I mean? You see? But it was a good fight because Kell Brook was in line and he was undefeated. The fight made sense.
IBF champ.
And y'all saw when Kell came over here and basically all of that manhandling that Sean Porter usually does, it didn't work on Kell. That was a good fight, Kell Brook versus Floyd. But you see what they said, Jamal? They told you it wasn't a money fight. Now I don't know if they were justifying it or they were saying no, it's a money fight, so it's not a money fight, so Floyd ain't gonna entertain it. But you see, that's the part that I can't stand. Because it came to a point where we barely saw Floyd test. Well, I'm not gonna say we ain't see him tested, but we ain't see him fight. There was a couple of things that he didn't do that we would have liked to see him do. On his way out, I would have loved to have seen him fight Keith Thurman. I would like to see him fight Kell Brook. He didn't do it. But he gave us fucking Conor McGregor and Andre Berto. That's what he did.
But the point I'm saying, Drew, is that he didn't have all the belts, so the other belts weren't held hostage. So no one's complaining about getting their shot because Kell Brook had the IBF, right? Manny had the WBO. So Manny was fighting his bum bash on the ESPN side, HBO side with that WBO thing. And everybody knows too, if you don't know, that WBO belt is basically a top ranked belt. If you go through the history of the welterweight division, that WBO belt is been held solely by top-ranked ESPN HBOs for that point for almost like 15 years up until Bud Crawford just left right now. So Manny was doing his bum bash, fighting recycle guys on the WBO side and ESPN top rank, and then you have the IBF with Kell Brook. And so Floyd was able to fight who he wanted to fight, and that's the point I'm trying to say here. These guys are holding all the belts and don't want to fight nobody who's in line for it. There's a big difference in that.
You got it. You nailed it. Because I actually criticized Floyd for keeping those 154-pound titles hostage, and I said he should have fought Erislandy Lara and he should have fought Jermell Charlo. And I said I wanted to see the Boo Boo Andre fight when Andre was coming up, and Andre was saying, I'm the man who can beat Floyd. Of course, we didn't get any of those fights. So he did not fight. I don't think, to tell you the truth, with the WBA, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Keith Thurman technically was his mandatory because I think Andre Berto was Keith Thurman's mandatory because Floyd was a super champ, so the WBA didn't annotate him to fight a mandatory at 147. But I do know as hell for sure that at 154, his mandatories were Jermell Charlo, and then his WBA mandatory was Erislandy Lara, and those were just never enforced. But to go back to your point, man, Manny Pacquiao and Floyd never did exclusively what Canelo has done in terms of, they've done some of the privileged stuff, but not. If you look at Canelo, I mean, who's he really fighting off of a career best performance? Who's he really fighting on it? What seems like an even playing field or somebody with momentum? Recall, he only fought Triple G the first time when Danny Jacobs, in my opinion, got robbed over at HBO. I thought he beat Triple G in that fight. And that's when Canelo finally agreed to fight him, when Triple G showed flaws. He fought Callum Smith after John Ryder should have won that fight. And then there was, John Ryder was maneuvered in a way in which he fought Danny Jacobs to a disputable fight. He ducked David Morrell Jr. Andre foolishly gave up his position to fight for the WBO, to force Canelo's hand. And so that allowed John Ryder to slide in. But who is this guy really fought without conditions like J-Lo's prenup agreement? He has more conditions in his contract than J-Lo's prenups, which he has. Even Kovalev,
$400 million, man. You gotta have them prenups in place. $400 million.
I'm not criticizing her. I'm not dissing J-Lo. She's probably worth $1 billion. I'm just saying, if you're someone like J-Lo, Jay-Z, or somebody like that, you got to have a prenup that's favorable to you because you've done all the heavy lifting in your life. Period. So this guy, when he's fighting Kovalev off of two of three straight knockouts, 2 of his last 3 were knockouts, a war with Anthony Yarde, and he gives him a short camp. And even Kovalev after the fight says, which I thought the fight was FAF. I thought it was fake because I thought Kovalev took a dive. But he even said, Kovalev after the fight said, fight me on real terms. Don't give me these BS terms. Corporate media didn't play this interview. They didn't really want to play this interview. But Kovalev came out and said, you basically handicapped me. You fought me after I went through some grueling wars off a short camp with the rehydration clause. Fight me like a real man, no conditions. Manny and Floyd, they did exercise some benefits. I'm not saying that they didn't, but they didn't do it to the extent that Canelo does it. I mean, really, to answer your question, who has he fought really that was perceived as a 50-50 fight off a threat of momentum? And, maybe Caleb Plant was the last guy that really happened to, where he's not injured. But even Caleb Plant, I think, was dealing with a hand injury when that fight finally happened. So, Canelo has done this privilege stuff to the 10th power that Floyd and Manny ever did. And again, like you said, Dave, you brought up a great point. They're not holding the whole division hostage when they're doing it, especially what 168 now is a hot division, So he was very active when 168 was full of these kind of British kind of guys who were not really seen as threats. But he didn't really enter and say that he wanted to be undisputed until conveniently David Benavidez was stripped of that 168-pound belt for the second time. That's when he said, I'm going up to 168. When David Benavidez was removed, he and Eddie Reynoso had never talked about fighting David Benavidez. They had never said, that's the fight I want to see. They never mentioned David Benavidez's name.
I want to touch on this point also. Everybody by now, y'all seen ID4, Independence Day, Will Smith, and the remake or whatever. I think Canelo is like those aliens. When we found out, what they do is they go to different planets and they drain all the resources and they move on. And salute to Stormy in a text. He just reminded me, is PBC the last resource he's going to drain? This motherfucker went to the zone and crashed it into a building like the terrorists did. Well, let me not play with that, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Then he went to, he HBO wasn't HBO his last? Wasn't the last HBO fight? Wasn't it a Canelo event?
Yeah, that's what I brought up on 78's podcast the other day. Canelo Triple G2 was the last ever fight on HBO. DAZN cut back substantially in the U.S. market. It's not even known as DAZN USA. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I never subscribed to them, but I think they're known as DAZN Worldwide now. So they cut back on spending. Lynn Blavnik has tried to sell that venture. And so even Eddie Hearn in some of his interviews, when they asked him when Canelo went to PBC, he said that's a good move because we can't pay him what he was getting essentially to cherry pick these British guys. And so I thought PBC had leverage in the sense that they could kind of force these good fights that we want to see. They could get a William Skull who's not tied to a major promoter. They could kind of get a Christian and Billy. They could at least get David Benavidez and David Morrell Jr., their fighters, and even Andre in there, because Canelo was either going to have to take a pay cut, a massive pay cut to stay at DAZN because Len Blahnik was tightening his purse strings, or he was going to have to go to PBC, and they just allowed him to. They lost all their leverage, just like they did. Errol Spence did when he wanted to make the the Terrence Crawford fight. And so so Canelo, if he's this great superstar, Drew, thank you for bringing that point up, because that's what I said on the other podcast. If corporate media says that he's this cross-cultural icon, this great superstar, the face of boxing, why is he presiding over or being integrally involved in the shutdown of two major players in the boxing world, Showtime Boxing, HBO, he couldn't save either one, and the tightening of the budget over at DAZN? Again, just like with the Jermell Charlo pound for pound and saying that he was never that high, he was never good, yet you elevate Canelo after beating him. It can't be one or the other. Either this guy's got inflated purses and inflated numbers, and he's not what you told us about being on Floyd and Manny's level commercially, where they would release their true numbers, regardless of who they were fighting, and those guys could carry an event, just being the only guys on there. Or he's not what y'all say he is. He can't be both.
Hey, Kamal, real fast here. You touched on something very dope there about Sergey Kovalev. People don't forget when Canelo picked that fight, y'all gotta look at the background of what Sergey was going through here. His personal life was shitty. Excuse me for the algorithm. Sorry.
He's going through a divorce.
He was going through divorce. He's a clear-cut alcoholic. He was arrested on a plane for groping a woman. All this stuff was coming out. His public life was coming out in DUI. And then Canelo says, sign the contract. And all of a sudden the fight comes through, right? Like, you gotta look at how Canelo, I look at this, he look at this example. He pulled the Sugar Ray versus Duran too. Because when Roberto Duran won, he was eating steaks. He ballooned up 50 pounds. And Sugar Ray's like, he ain't gonna be ready for no rematch in 6 months. Went ahead and got the immediate rematch. The same thing when you see your capitalist and say like, hey, he drunk all the time. He got wife problems. He got married. He's going to divorce. DUIs. His stuff is in the news now. It's never kept under wraps now. This is my time to get him. You see, he capitalized off, he looks at everybody's situation here and says, it's a name, but he's not a name where he's supposed to be at. Like with Mel, it'll be a different fight when they're all at 154. But now he's years later and 14 pounds heavier, he got the advantage. The same thing in Kovalev here, personal battles, he has the advantage. So he's constantly looking at situations, say, who can I get not at his best? When can I get him when I know he's at his weakest?
You nailed it. That's why I've long called Canelo, I called him a scavenger and a vulture, because not only was Kovalev dealing with that, he had been, I think, taken to court for sexually assaulting, or I don't know what the incident was in Big Bear. He mishandled a woman.
I remember that.
Yep, and then and I apologize for using that language. I hope this doesn't get demonetized. But he also had trouble because he got escorted off a plane, so he was going through a civil lawsuit as well.
Yep.
So he was, and again, I don't know how he wasn't deported. We're not talking immigration laws here because absolutely crazy, but he should have been deported long ago. So he's going through all kind of stuff, not to mention the physical stuff that we brought up, the mental stuff. And so he goes up there, and this is something else that Canelo lied about. People asked, they said, why are you fighting Kovalev, who's gotten knocked out by Elidio Alvarez and Andre Ward in 2 of his last 3 fights, just got off a tough fight with Anthony Yard in the 8th round. Buddy McGirt, his trainer at the time, says, I'm going to stop this fight if you don't respond. And then he pulls it together later on and gets Anthony Yard out of there. And they're saying, why not fight Beterbiev, who's knocking people out? Or why not fight Bivol? And what did Canelo and his team say at the time, which was a total lie? They said, in our opinion, Kovalev is the best at 175. And at that time, that was pure BS because he was not the best. And I've been following Beterbiev since he was on PBC. I've always been a big fan of that guy. When corporate media was telling you that Mean Machine, Green Beans, Ilias Kavalakis was this prospect of the year, I was saying, no, that guy's nothing like Artur Beterbiev. That guy's going to be a monster. And Artur Beterbiev proved me right. You proved me right. And so their excuse was that Kovalev was the best name at 175, and he beats them. And so they chose Kovalev. They put rehydration clauses on him. He was going through all this stuff. And so, yeah, he took the 10 or 12 million. And I thought he laid down in that fight. And so later on, and this is why he's got to fight Beterbiev and Bivol. Later on, he says, we tried to fight Beterbiev. We sent him a contract and we never heard back from his team. So they went to Artur Beterbiev and they went to his manager. And I think Drew Titan knows his handlers. So I'd love for you to get him on the show. Beterbiev said, we never got an offer to fight Canelo. We never got a fax. We never got any communication. He never wanted to fight us. We would take that fight tomorrow. And so Canelo, when he was fighting Bivol, said that. So it can't be one or the other. Again, he would never fight Beterbiev. He never fight that guy because he knew what was coming.
That'll be the first time you see Canelo actually get dominated. Let me address two things before I go to my brother Mansa Musa. My brother Charlie, he says Showtime was going away before they signed Canelo. True, I agree. But let me add to that. If the ship was sinking, I wouldn't pick Canelo to be the one to save the ship. He's gonna add weight to the ship and collapse it further. And my brother Trick Nolte, he said, when you watch National Geographic, oh shit, he fell off. Come on back, Mansa Musa. He said, when you watch National Geographic, you see wolves hunt. They don't go after the biggest and strongest buffalo. They go after the weak and sick buffalo. That is Canelo. He seeks out the weak. That's just what he does. Yeah, Mansa, come on back if you can. But I wouldn't pick Canelo to save a network. And true, you know, the PBC, I think they're switching gears. They're going to Amazon Prime. That's a great move. You know, so now I think the future is watching shit on the move, you know, because not everyone's home all the time, you know, watching things on the move. I think DAZN was on to something, but it was too early for them to be trying to crash the market with that idea. Then
the problem with DAZN is that they don't have shoulder programming. They are completely an app with no other further infrastructure. We're going to talk about business here. People are not going to navigate directly to an app without additional shoulder programming or additional resources to make it jump up big here. DAZN had a flawed business model from the start if they were trying to sell fights of Canelo stature. If you're doing regular mid-tier fights, it's one thing. 20 plus $30 million gates, DAZN out the gate. And here's the thing too, I was a beta tester for DAZN when they first came out. So I know the little ins and outs of the application. I used to work, I did some side work with them. Their business model was flawed from the jump.
Really?
From the jump. You don't have no shoulder programming. Think that you're in an app trying to compete with everybody. That means you got to be tied to your phone. Just the mere aspects of trying to promote something. When you think about Showtime, who they have now? CBS, of course, Paramount. So you can go ahead and promote all avenues for their fights. ESPN, the worldwide leader. They got like freaking 8 stations. ESPN 8, the Ocho. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a network and you can do cross promotion, that helps for your app. If you're strictly an app, you're doomed to fail regardless. Look at BOK Prime. Apps cannot make it in the sports world unless you have linear television to support you.
Yeah.
Well, they were also overpaying Canelo and Bumlovkin. They had Andre, like I said on 78 Sports Podcast earlier this week. They had all the pieces at super middleweight and middleweight, and they didn't force like Andre and Canelo or Andre and Triple G to fight. They were overpaying guys like Tevin Farmer to fight 4 times a year. And so their business model, if you're going to pay these guys and give Triple G equity, you can't pay him $20 million, $15 million to fight Tootsie Roll. What's his name? Steve Rose, Tootsie Roll, the guy who
they gave him $100 million and you can't over 5 to 10% equity in the company.
Yeah. You can't do that and be successful. So that was a fool's gold. And then you pump fake and say Jamal Charlo, who's on a completely other network, is ducking Andre, when in reality, in-house fights in boxing have historically been easier to make than cross-promotional fights. And you're trying to pump fake it and say that Andre and Maldi could be fighting. You got corporate media saying that, but the people ain't buying it, son. They're not buying it. So that was another problem with DAZN's business model. You're paying these guys who don't have the marketing, like a Tevin Farmer. No disrespect to Tevin. I like Tevin a lot. But you're paying them a lot of money to fight 4 times a year. and you're making him fight Jojo Diaz, and he's supposed to get a rematch, and you don't make him rematch Jojo Diaz, rematch Tevin Farmer. So the economics of it made no sense to have Canelo fighting these ex-cricket players, these billiards and snooker players. You're paying him a ton of money, and Lynn Blachnick says, I'm trying to sell you. I'm trying to sell DAZN. It's a toxic asset for me.
I want the other guys to talk for a second. I see it came in, Drew. I just want to let you guys understand the numbers here. DAZN paid Canelo and Triple G. Now, Canelo didn't get the whole contract. They paid Canelo and Triple G close to $300 million of that $1 billion award that Eddie Hearn gave here. Close to $300 million, and you're wondering why they're not doing anything right now. You can't give $200 million to two people and have no events.
They gave Triple G stock options
and the stock. He owns part of the company. He has equity. Let me go to Monster Musa. Good, what's going on, good brother?
Hey, salute, big bro. Hey, salute, panel.
Yes, sir.
It's fucking Friday. I'm gonna give out this one suggestion, then I'm gone, y'all.
Yep.
Canelo can get all the computer he wants. He can stack his gloves, and he can fight strictly in Vegas. If he does this right here, I'll respect him forever. If he used the franchise status for what it's for, go up and fight Deontay Wilder at heavyweight right now. Die, get resuscitated, lose weight, go down, fight Tank, come up, fight Shakur, fight Haney, fight Garrett, fight Antonio Russell, fight Boots, fight Lubin, fight Morrell, fight David Benavidez, fight B-Val, fight Beterbiev, fight Badu Jack, go back up to heavyweight, fight the old Champo dude at light cruiserweight, fight Big Bang Zane, fight King Kong Ortiz, and retire fighting Wilder. I'll respect him forever. He can use computer drugs and everything. That's the only way I'll respect him. I'm out.
Hey, what about Monster anyway? Can he fight Monster anyway?
Did he say die and get resurrected? Wait a minute.
Whoa!
Oh, take that. Cali, what's good, bro?
Happy Friday. Salute to all the black folks in the chat room. You know what I'm saying? I just want to throw that out there. Salute to all the black folks in the chat room. Salute to everybody, all the black people worldwide. You know what I'm saying? I got nothing but love for black folks. The zone is probably going to be sold to Apple or YouTube or Google or, you know what I mean, like Amazon or something like that in the near future. So it doesn't really matter. It's an asset. They'll probably wait for the value to decline a little bit more, and then they'll go ahead and they'll sell then, because then they're not going to buy it at its current price. He's gonna have to take another loss and just get rid of it, but it'll eventually be purchased. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the whole situation, Canelo, no one can force this dude to do anything. Canelo's gonna fight whoever he wants to fight. He has a fan base who doesn't want to see him fight anybody. They're okay. They want to know that he's gonna win the fight, and they're gonna tell you that these dudes are a threat. It's like they're telling you how big of it. Even though they were telling you before that Charlo didn't do anything to deserve the fight. When Canelo decided to fight him, then they were okay, because that's when they felt confident. Because when Canelo was running, they weren't confident at first. They were telling you they were confident, but they had a million excuses. So they're never going to tell you about a fighter. If they think that there's a fighter that we want to see him fight, they don't want to see his. I'm talking about Canelo fans. Don't want to see him fight them. Period. They don't want to see that. They'll talk shit, but they don't want to actually see that fight. And he has enough fan base where he can get away with fighting anybody he wants, and there's nothing that you and I can do about it, because he has a large enough fan base that's going to be able to generate enough money for him to do whatever the fuck he wants to do. So he's never going to fight any of the other dudes that we want him to fight. He's not going to. He's going to finish the contract without fighting. That's why Jamal Charlo said, "See you next." You know that? Jamal Charlo said, "See you next." That's what he's fighting next. He's going to fight Charlo, and he's going to probably end up fighting Crawford and leave. Sorry, but that's just them are the facts. If you don't fight Crawford, if he doesn't fight, if it's not Crawford, then it'll be Keller Plant. And them are the facts. Sorry about it, but that's the reality.
Yeah, Bob Arum is already talking greasy, in the
Cal's
article.
speaking facts, because you're not gonna see it on YouTube.
Yeah, I disagree. I disagree slightly.
If you go on Facebook, you're gonna see all the Canelo Man fans. You're not gonna see him heavy on YouTube because I did a little deep dive. Cali speaking facts there. They don't care who Canelo fights. They just want to see the man in the ring and do his thing, whatever. They prefer to be exhibitions than anything else. Go on Facebook and go to the Canelo group pages.
They're calling for the Jamal Charlo fight. They're calling for it.
Yeah.
But I disagree. I disagree slightly with Cali. Yes, he does have that built-in fan base. But remember, HBO blocked fights. And actually, Canelo tried to fight MacBook Air. He tried to sell that to DAZN. He tried to sell that to Showtime. And both of them declined the fight. So yes, he has a built-in fan base that can generate money, but networks have declined fights that they don't like. And they have done it with Canelo, where they say, that's just a bridge too far. Same thing with the Nevada State Athletic Commission. What happened when Bum Lufkin tried to fight Jaime Munguia? They said, you've cherry-picked a lot, but this is a cherry pick. We're not going to, it's a bridge too far. You've gone too far.
Hold on, Kamal. He fought Rocky Fielding and John Ryder.
Yeah, that was
on pay-per-view.
That was crazy. And people paid for that. That was DAZN, right?
Yeah, but DAZN agreed to those fights. They approved those fights. PBC can say we're not gonna show you fighting MacBook Air, trying to like what's his name? Badu Jack revealed that he was trying to fight Badu Jack, basically a light heavyweight, and to try to get a cheap crown. He was turned down for that fight by Showtime. Steven Espinoza said, no, we're not going to show it. Eddie Hearn said, no, we're not going to show it. That is a bridge too far. That is a cherry.
No, but he's still giving you fights that we know he's going to win. He's going to beat Jamal Charlo. He's going to beat Caleb Plant. Those are the dudes he knows he can beat. He's only going to fight dudes he knows he can beat. Now, this is the thing that I keep trying to tell folks. Because folks will have, even a lot of black folks, buy into the shit that I try to tell you when some black folks get behind certain black fighters that they see that are perceived threats to certain black folks out of their hatred towards Canelo. I told y'all that he was gonna beat the shit out of Charlo. I stood firm on that shit. I told you he will whoop his ass. He will beat Bud's ass. He will beat Jamal Charlo's ass. I told everybody this. People don't want to listen to me. He's gonna fight when he wants to fight him. 9.8 to 9.8 times out of 10, he's gonna win because he knows he can beat them. Beaver was a cherry pick going wrong. Those are rare. But I'm telling you, the dudes that he got left, a lot of folks that perceive them to be tough fights. They are not. He's much bigger than these guys, and that's why he's going to fight them. I'm telling you, he's going to fight Jamal Charlo, and it's either going to be Bud or the white boy. Sorry.
I think if Danny Garcia beats Erislandy Lara, I predicted this over a year ago because when that fight was first floated. I think if Danny Garcia beats Erislandy Lara for the middleweight championship, I definitely think that Canelo will fight Danny Garcia and try to sell it as Puerto Rico versus Mexico.
Come on.
That's another bad mismatch.
Come on. I thought about that, but I erased it from my head because I didn't want to speak that into existence, damn it.
No, don't give me that. Please, no. God,
about that, come on, but we're going to speak that into existence now if he beats Lara.
Hey, I've been on this guy for years when people were telling me that, this guy's this great fighter, he's fighting back to back. And I've been exposing his contradictions, his moves for years. But I will say this again, Callie brings up a great point about the economics. But again, PBC is his exclusive broadcaster. So if they put their foot down and say, hey, look, we're not going to broadcast the Jamal Charlo fight or the Jamel Charlo fight, we don't approve it, he's going to have to go somewhere else. Yeah, well, they approved it. They did approve it. They did approve it. But I'm saying they could turn that fight down like HBO used to do, like Showtime did. But they're approving these cherry picks. But
yeah, they already signed off for all those fights. He already knew a list of fighters he could fight, and they agreed to the terms. Otherwise, he wouldn't have signed.
Well, that's a good point, and I'll end with this because I think 78's on now. I will say this: the IBF is our final hope because we know the IBF will strip him, and I think William Skull, that should be ordered. So the IBF is our final hope to order that fight, and then he drops that belt because
that fight won't happen until he's off. The PBC deal is over.
No, the IBF doesn't care about that. They'll strip him regardless.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, we got to remember, too, with that John Ryder fight, that was in play a year and a half in advance. That wasn't just Canelo. That was DAZN picking the cherry pick. Because remember, John Ryder went in and fought Danny Jacobs. That the rig was in from the jump street when Danny Jacobs took that fight there. So when we talk about Canelo cherry picking, the networks like the Zone are in it from the jump streets.
Yeah,
Of course.
No, but you wanted to see a Danny Jacobs rematch? Danny Jacobs had been looking like shit.
No,
Zone-
I'm
you
saying
fight
John
with stop
Ryder.
Danny
No,
Jacobs
I'm
this time.
saying that John Ryder and the Danny Jacobs fight was set up a year in advance. They
Of course.
wanted John Ryder to win. So
Of
it wasn't,
course.
it wasn't just Canelo. The Zone are some of these cherry picks as well. The
Well,
networks are setting
it was. It was. And that's why I was so angry with Andre, because John Ryder was David Morrell's WBA mandatory. The WBA ordered that fight 2 times, and John Ryder pulled out of it. He ducked it, and Eddie Hearn specifically said, go to Boxing Scene, read these articles. He said, we're not fighting David Morrell. That's a tough fight. We're going on another path. So they put John Ryder, Eddie Hearn maneuvered to put him in the WBO route. And Andre had the fight with Zach Parker, and he could have blocked Ryder for being at the WBO mandatory, but he pulled out of that fight. 1, because he got injured. 2nd, because he didn't like the purse. I was saying to him, go ahead and go through with the Zach Parker fight. Come through as WBO mandatory, so you block Canelo versus Ryder, and then Canelo will not fight you, and you become the WBO champion, and you have more leverage. She, of course, didn't take that advice, but I will say that.
The Zone crashed their own car because I think they were just throwing enough shit at the wall, hoping something would stick. And they stubbed their own toe at 3 a.m. with the lights out. That's what they did. They fucked themselves. And I remember the arguments. They were talking about, oh man, the Zone's backed by this Russian that has $1 billion and he has endless money. I was like, no, the reason why he's a gazillionaire is because he understands money. No business person is gonna dump money into anything without an ROI. And I said, this model is gonna fucking fail. Canelo followed the bag instead of going to the PVC where there was real work when the fighters were active. And he followed the bag, and he gave y'all shitty fights. He didn't give me shitty fights. I didn't buy the app. I wasn't Liam Canelo.
I can't blame Canelo. Who's gonna give you some stupid ass or ridiculous deal like
I
that?
don't blame him.
I
didn't want to deal with it.
Hey,
I didn't
365
deal with
guys. Hey, Drew, 365 million. I think not one of us will be like, yo, give me a pen, pencil, marker, whatever. I'll sign in 16 different ways. Teach me Spanish, Tagalog. I'll sign it how you want me to sign that thing.
Oh, yeah. And I ain't mad at him for getting his bread. But let's call it what it is. As a supporter of the sport, the trade-off was we didn't get what we wanted. We didn't get what we wanted. He told us, oh, Triple G's out my system. Then he gave us a 3rd fight. We're never going to get the Benavidez fight. I'm not confident. But before I get out of here, I want to address something. I had a troll that was really rich yesterday on my Canelo video when I called him Star Fox. And I'm going to put this dude on the Summer Jam screen. Y'all ready for this shit? He referred to us as, he called me an alphabet boy. You know, that's slang, you know, LDBC. I get it. It's cute. It's raggedy, but it's cute because it's a double meaning, you know, because they're trying to say we're part of the alphabet community. Well, listen, man. I hope to God this ain't your picture. My nigga. My nigga. What, son?
What is that? What are his pronouns, or what are her pronouns?
Exactly. What the fuck is this? So he's a real person. He's been around for 15 years. I checked his account. He doesn't do content, but you know, he subscribes to the hater channels, and I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't know if he's Latino or Asian. I don't know.
I would bet the world he's the black dude who just did that.
Bro,
I would bet
he probably a mulatto. He probably one of those high yellow black niggas with good hair, quote unquote good hair. This word up, trick. No, this nigga look like a broke up Tony Jaa. Motherfucker, you look like you saw Rachel Donaire on my panel and said, "That's it. That's the look I'm going for."
No, but I've seen this dude before though, man. For years, he will pop up and just after the videos are over. I've seen him around.
I see him on other channels too.
Bro, if this is you, that's the joke. I don't even have to roast you. What the fuck is this? What the fuck, nigga? Looking like Storm Shadow without the mask. nigga, you look like a goddamn. Oh my God, this is a whole show in itself. I mean, look at this. You're calling us gay? I don't listen. No motherfucking man could call me gay when you can yank your shit into a ponytail. Stop.
It's always the suspect guys trying to call other people suspect.
Holy shit. And you see, you think we be playing, we say, yo, these stalkers, yo, they really are infatuated with us. They really like, yo, they really want to fuck.
Hey,
they
bro,
really want to fuck.
Was that a transvestite Luke?
I don't know what the fuck that is, but
that looked like a tranny Liu Kang, bro.
King Corleone
bet
said,
you that nigga did the bicycle kick.
Oh my God.
I bet you that nigga does the
bicycle
kick. Oh my
God, bro, that better not be your real picture, dude. That better not really be you. That better be something you snatch somewhere. Because if that's you, I need you to pull up. I'll give you what you want, dogs. All of this alphabet boys and shit, or whatever the fuck it is, bro. I need you to pull up. If that's you, I need you to pull up.
It's always the most dusty people that seem to think they can scream the loudest.
You know what, man? Get off my dick. Get off my dick. Get off our dick. If you don't like what we're saying, especially because these niggas only show up when we talk about Canelo. Look, man, the man popped dirty. It happened. Get over it. Some of my favorite fighters pop dirty. I'm over it. Get over it.
10 times the amount of clenbuterol that a
10 times. It wasn't trace amounts. It was 10 times.
10 times.
That shit.
So
corporate media tried to bury that. They tried to bury that fact.
10 times.
I'll say this. Canelo's pop dirty, but I will say that I respect his business ventures outside of boxing. I respect that about him. And I respect it with that. I respect him for being a family man. I don't respect his decisions on making fights. I don't respect that. I respect the skills in the ring, but I don't respect his decision making when it comes to making the best fights. And I do think that he likes to box. I just think that he doesn't want to take chances on losing because there's a legacy there. And I think that I know that he gets bothered by losing. So I don't think he wants to be in 50-50 fights. Even though he has a chance to win these fights, the fights that we want to see him in, he has a chance to win some of these fights. There's no guarantee he's going to lose the Benavidez.
Here's my thing.
Beterbiev, even though I'm going to pick Beterbiev over him, but there's no guarantee he can win those fights.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing. Let me read this super chat real quick. And here's my thing. Eric Jordan in that super chat, he said, a cracked out Michael Jackson dropping the soap. Salute. That's funny. Here's my thing with Canelo. Everybody surrounding Canelo, they need to comply with what he said. He said, they want a payday with me. I know that. But they should all fight each other and I'll fight the winner of them. Great. There's enough talent in 168 and at 160. Everyone should be fighting each other. It frees him the fuck out since he has a fan base that are unconditional, that'll purchase him fighting these bum fights. Let him go fight the bums if they're going to pay for it. If he's not going to fight the people that we mentioned, I'd love to see William Skull versus Christian and Billy. I'd love to see Benavidez fight David Morrell. Fuck it, fight each other then. Beat each other up. Have a tournament between y'all. Now you see, if you had a tournament at 168, and then you said, okay, the winner of this tournament gets a franchise status. And then you could go do whatever you want. I'm with that if there was a tournament for the franchise status. But these motherfuckers just giving shit away. I'm calling Mauricio Sillyman Crazy Eddie. Y'all remember Crazy Eddie? Or is that a New York thing? Insane. I might be the only nigga that remember that. But you see, comply with Canelo. Fight everyone around you. Because you know what? Imagine this. If David Benavidez says, you know what? I'm not even on that type of time. Give me Billy. Let's say he fights Billy, he beats Billy. Then he fights Morrell and beats Morrell. Let's say he beats everybody of relevance. He beats Andre and Billy, Morrell. And then we're going to look at fucking Canelo and say, well, bro, look what David did. In 2 years, he did more than what you've done in the last fucking 6. What are you doing? You're fighting Liam Callums from across the pond, man. Get the fuck out of here, man.
And let me say this to respond to somebody in the chat room. Canelo's not slow. He just loads up on shots because he knows that these dudes the dudes that he's choosing to fight, they don't want to throw punches because they're fear of getting countered. So he knows he can load up on shots against these dudes because they're not going to let their hands go out of fear that he's going to quickly counter back. He's doing that on purpose. He loads up. If you watch his last like 6-7 fights, only thing he's doing is loading up on shots, trying to injure their arm, trying to injure their elbow, their shoulder, and things like that. And he's doing that intentionally to try to harm try to take away from their defense. It's smart. It's a smart strategy. If I can't land shit on you, I'm gonna hit you in the shoulder. I'm gonna hit you in the arm over and over and over again until it starts to swell up, and you're not gonna want to block with that arm anymore. It's a smart ass strategy. But he's not slow. He's just loading up every shot intentionally. It's intentional. It's a plan. He's thinking in the ring. He has fast hands when he wants to.
Yo, let me get out of here. The General's on, man. Yo, Dave, let me know how they can find you, good brother.
I'll be online tonight, 5 p.m. Eastern. My channel, that dude named Dave. Real fast, too. Y'all know we got the meetup next year. We're going to be talking about little by little. I talked to Theo one-on-one, Drew. So you're going to have the Do Better podcast, Drew, Titan, as well as that dude named Dave. Vegas, weekend before Thanksgiving, November 16th weekend. Meetup. Since the MGM hack is taken care of now, we're looking at all places here to do the meetup spot for the resort here. So we're going to get that out there. You guys got a year to stack y'all money up. That dude named Dave.
Let's get it, man. Kamal Oz, man. Always a pleasure, good brother, man. Let them know how everyone can find you.
Always a pleasure, man. I don't have my channel up like Drew Titan does or 78, but I do contribute all across various YouTube platforms. Thought about starting my own YouTube channel, not just about boxing, but about
Just start a channel, bro.
And I can talk about Ukraine and how stuff in Sudan is 100 times worse than Ukraine, and I can talk about a lot of stuff.
Start the YouTube channel. I'm telling you, start the channel.
Come on, bro. Do it, Kamal. You got the gap, man. Do it.
We got your back, man.
Thank you. And I will say this, man, very few people are speaking up about the xenophobia, hatred, and scapegoating of Dmitry Bivol just because he's a dual citizen of Russia. That's complete BS that Errol and the WBC are blocking Undisputed that we want to see. Corporate media is not covering it. And we do have power. We do have influence over Canelo in some ways. Call the IBF and ask for Daryl Peoples and ask him, which I've done before. I've called the IBF and I said, please strip Golovkin for ducking Derevchenko. But we have power to influence certain things. Call the IBF, contact them and say, please, Mr. Daryl Peoples, leave a message for him. Order William Skull versus Canelo Alvarez. That's it.
Yo, y'all hear it. We on that. Focus ball. In the building, man. Let me know how I can find you, good brother.
Hey, you already know. If y'all ready to take your striking game to the next level or just have fun punching and kicking, head on over to thefocusballs.com and copy yourself a set of focus balls. Use the promo code LDBC to get 10% off. And of course, check out my YouTube channel and all that good shit. Much appreciation. Till next time.
Excellent. And my brother, Cali, you already know, man. What's good, man? Let them know how they can find you, good brother.
You can find me at the Cali Enigma on YouTube for the most part. And I'm just chill, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's Friday, so I'm happy as hell. and like I said before, I'm black. I wake up in my skin every day, so that makes me happy alone. Ain't no troll, nobody on YouTube can take that away from me. You know what I'm saying? That's the birthright, being born black. So I every day I get to wake up and look at myself in the mirror and see that black skin. That makes me happy. So, man, I'm chill, bro. I'm chill.
No diggity doubt, man. And I'm gonna throw this picture up there. Y'all screenshot this. I don't know what y'all want to do with this. Roast this nigga. He can pull up because I'm gonna have a field day. The General's on. Let's head up over there. Dave, I'm gonna holler at you later. I'll be in the chat later on, enjoying that content. I gotta go drive these ungrateful New Yorkers around. It's raining today, which is good. That means they're gonna stay their ass home. And with that being said, your pep talk tonight, y'all ladies need to know to wash y'all ass, and we're gonna have that discussion. The General shoes on. Boss on deck.
Move!
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.